These are the most explosive rock band feuds in rock history. Legendary musicians who created timeless music together, then spent decades tearing each other apart. From brothers who attacked each other with cricket bats to bandmates who refused to speak for 20 years, these rock music rivalries didn't just end careers, they became part of rock folklore.
And all the lights that lead us there are blind before, but you never really had it out. I don't believe that.
Let's start with perhaps the most famous sibling rivalry in music history, Oasis and the Gallagher brothers. Noel and Liam Gallagher turned their mutual hatred into a decades-long public spectacle that was almost as entertaining as their music. The band, signed to Creation Records and leaders of the Britpop movement, sold over 100 million records worldwide, but their success got constantly overshadowed by the brothers' venomous relationship. The violence started early. During the recording of their breakthrough album, Morning Glory in 1995, tensions hit a breaking point in rural Wales. Liam had invited a group of drunk strangers from the local pub back to their recording studio. Noel was so furious he grabbed a cricket bat and smashed it over his younger brother's head. That cricket bat would later sell at auction, becoming a bizarre piece of rock memorabilia. But the cricket bat incident was just the beginning. At their MTV Unplugged session, Liam pulled out at the last minute, claiming he had a sore throat. Instead of performing, he sat in the balcony drinking beer and smoking cigarettes, heckling his brother's singing between songs. 4 days later, when the band was supposed to leave for an American tour, Liam simply refused to go. The brothers' hatred wasn't just physical, it cut deeply personal. In 2000, during a Barcelona incident, Liam reportedly questioned the legitimacy of Noel's daughter with his ex-wife. By 2016, Liam had taken their feud to social media, tweeting pictures of Noel with the caption "potato" and continuing the potato references for over a year. The end came in 2009, just minutes before they were set to take the stage at the Rock en Seine festival in Paris. After another massive fight, Noel announced, "I simply could not go on working with Liam a day longer." The band that had dominated British music for 15 years was over. Liam's response was typically blunt. "I'd rather eat my own shit than be in a band with him again." Yet in one of the most surprising twists in rock history, the Gallagher brothers announced their reunion in August 2024. After 16 years of bitter feuding, they're performing together again in 2025, proving that sometimes even the deepest hatred can't overcome the power of great music. Moving to America, Guns N' Roses created their own legendary feud between Axl Rose and Slash. These weren't brothers. They were creative partners, whose artistic differences became so toxic they couldn't be in the same room. The band formed in 1985 and exploded with Appetite for Destruction, which sold 30 million copies worldwide. Success brought ego clashes that would tear them apart, with rhythm guitarist Izzy Stradlin leaving first in 1991, setting the pattern for the band's eventual implosion. The first major crack appeared during the recording of Sympathy for the Devil for Interview with the Vampire in 1994. Slash hated the movie and didn't give his full effort to the recording. When Rose demanded he re-record his guitar parts and Slash refused, Rose had another guitarist, Paul Tobias, play over Slash's original parts. This betrayal marked the beginning of the end. The final straw came when Slash worked with Michael Jackson. Rose, who believed he had been abused as a child and supported Jackson's accusers, felt completely betrayed by Slash's decision to collaborate with the pop star. As their former manager explained, Rose was devastated that his creative partner would work with someone he viewed as a child predator. Slash officially left in October 1996, and the band Rose kept going, released only one album in the next 28 years, Chinese Democracy, which took 15 years to make and became the most expensive rock album ever produced. It sold just over 2 million copies, a catastrophic failure compared to their earlier success. The reconciliation came in 2016 when Rose, Slash, and bassist Duff McKagan shared a stage for the first time since 1993. Their Not in This Lifetime tour became one of the highest-grossing tours in history, proving that audiences were hungry for the original lineup despite their long separation.
Grass was green.
Pink Floyd's Roger Waters and David Gilmour represent perhaps the most intellectually vicious feud in rock history. The band, originally founded by Syd Barrett before his departure due to mental illness, saw Waters leave in 1985, but the legal and personal battles continued for decades. Waters believed he owned Pink Floyd's creative legacy, while Gilmour felt Waters was trying to control something he had abandoned. Their only reunion came at Live 8 in 2005, lasting just 4 songs. The conflict exploded publicly in 2023 when Gilmour's wife, lyricist Polly Sampson, launched a devastating Twitter attack on Waters, calling him anti-Semitic to your rotten core, and a lying, thieving, hypocritical, tax-avoiding, lip-syncing, misogynistic, sick-with-envy megalomaniac. Gilmour liked the tweet, essentially endorsing his wife's nuclear assault on his former bandmate. When asked about a potential reunion, the now 78-year-old Gilmour was brutally direct. Absolutely not. I tend to steer clear of people who actively support genocidal and autocratic dictators like Putin and Maduro. Do you know what decade of my life I was in when Roger left our pop group? My 30s, I'm now 78. Where's the relevance? Even the Beatles weren't immune to destructive feuds. John Lennon and Paul McCartney, arguably the greatest songwriting partnership in history, turned their creative differences into public warfare through their songs. After their manager Brian Epstein died in 1967, business disputes over new manager Alan Klein divided the band. After the band broke up in 1970, Lennon released How Do You Sleep, with lyrics like, "The only thing you done was yesterday, and since you've gone, you're just another day." McCartney fired back with subtle digs in his own songs. The argument over who broke up the Beatles continues today. McCartney insists he was the last to leave and that Lennon destroyed the band, while Lennon claimed he started it, so he had the right to end it. Their personal relationship remained strained until shortly before Lennon's murder in 1980, when they had begun to reconcile. Van Halen's feuds were multi-generational, involving not just the classic David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar rivalry, but continuing family dysfunction after Eddie Van Halen's death in 2020. Roth called the band a spiteful bunch of bleary-eyed, argumentative, procrastinating individuals, while Hagar described wanting to break Roth's neck after he repeatedly canceled shows on their reunion tour. Even in 2025, the feuding continues. When Hagar claimed Eddie's ghost visited him in a dream to show him a new guitar lick, Roth mocked the story during a concert, joking that Eddie's ghost had also visited him. Meanwhile, Eddie's brother Alex Van Halen hasn't spoken to Hagar in 21 years and refuses to even mention him by name in his memoir. The Ramones created perhaps the most tragic feud in rock history. The punk rock pioneers who got their start at CBGB in New York saw founding members Joey and Johnny Ramone stop speaking to each other completely after Johnny stole Joey's girlfriend Linda. For years, they would only communicate on stage, maintaining complete silence off stage despite being in the same band alongside Dee Dee Ramone and Tommy Ramone. Joey was a liberal Democrat, Johnny was a conservative Republican, and their political differences made their personal hatred even deeper. Linda, now Johnny's widow, still defends the love triangle. None of us ever put each other first. The band always came first. But Joey never forgave the betrayal, and the two founding members of punk rock died without reconciling. What makes these feuds fascinating isn't just the personal drama, it's how they reveal the impossible tension between artistic collaboration and human ego. These musicians created some of the greatest songs in history together, yet couldn't stand to be in the same room. Their hatred became part of their legend, sometimes overshadowing their musical achievements. Rock and roll has always been about rebellion, passion, and intensity. Maybe it's inevitable that when you put highly creative, egotistical people together under enormous pressure, some of them will end up wanting to kill each other. The remarkable thing isn't that these feuds happened. It's that despite all the hatred, the music they created together remains timeless.